Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 236 based on novel. So let's start. Yugan, this bastard. Our mercenary group helped their Yu family a lot at the beginning, but now they actually want to kill people. Yang Fei cautiously ran up the path, his mouth shattered. Very few people know about this trail, even in the mercenary group, and the role of this trail is clearly made by its leader in order to escape. Unfortunately, Yang Fan's own back path did not have time to use it. It fell into Yugan's hands. Father and the others, I'm afraid the odds are worse. I can't stay around Ghost King City anymore. I'm afraid I can only go to Dongju to hide first. The ratio of the whole Dongju is about to start. Yang Fei moved quickly and kept thinking in his heart. Before he escaped, his father had already handed over a lot of the group's wealth to him. With the addition of the seal fighting skills, Yang Fei was confident that he would gain a place in the East Continent, and then he would be able to leap into the Dragon Gate. Sorry, you probably don't have time to do these things. And at the next corner of the trail, Xiao Yang's voice was like a ghost, appearing in front of him without a sound. Damn. Seeing this, Yang Fei turned around and left. This guy in a black robe still remembers the scene where he just wiped out a guard in the Red Pine Forest. Yang Fei knew that he couldn't beat him, so he could only turn around and leave. Where do you want to run? Xiao Yang's speed was extremely fast, and when Yang Fei moved, he instantly stopped Yang Fei's figure. My lord, my lord, my lord. I beg you not to kill me. This is a seal fighting skill. This is 10 million gold coins. I'll give it to you. I'll give you whatever you want. When Yang Fei saw Xiao Yang blocking his way, he couldn't help roaring. Yang Fei knew that after Yugan wiped out their entire Hammer mercenary group, he had no self-protection power at all. The appearance of Xiao Yang would undoubtedly cost him his life. Let's die. Xiao Yang glanced at this guy. The huge soul force naturally found that this guy was not willing, and his eyes were full of conspiracy and tricks. As soon as Xiao Yang finished speaking, a bluish-yellow flame suddenly emerged from his body and attacked Yang Fei. What kind of flame is this? Ah. Before Yang Fei could move, he was immediately entangled by the raging fire, and immediately swallowed by it in the next moment. No was left. Shabu. After a while, Yang Fei's figure was burned into nothingness by the blue-yellow flames. Yang Fei's strength is tyrannical, but the blue-yellow flame is the fusion of Fire Heart Tianyang and Ghost Face Soul Flame, so it is naturally not something Yang Fei can resist. The sealing fighting skill. Xiao Yang walked over and took the sealing fighting skill into his pocket. As for the other things, they had already been burned to the ground. The news of the demise of the Hammer mercenary group will soon spread to the Ghost King City. It seems that we have to avoid the limelight first. All I need to do now is to wait for the guy who took the undead leaves to act, and reap the benefits. Not long after, Xiao Yang came to the Ghost King City, stayed in an inn, and calmly adjusted his breath. The Lei family mansion. Patriarch, it's not good. A follower with a panicked expression ran into the lobby and said to Lei Li. What are you panicking about? Lei Li was sitting in the hall at this time, holding a scroll and savoring it carefully. He was so surprised by this attendant that he couldn't help asking. Patriarch, the Hammer mercenary group has been destroyed. But the follower didn't care, his expression was still extremely frightened, and he said slowly. What? Hammer mercenary group was destroyed? When he heard the follower say this, Lei Li couldn't help putting down the scroll in his hand, and his eyes became vigilant. Although the overall strength of the Hammer mercenary group is not comparable to their three major families, but in the Ghost King City, it is also one of the best in strength, how could it be destroyed? Who did it? Lei Li asked. Do not know. But one thing is certain, the murderer who destroyed the Hammer mercenary group was suppressed by his strength and killed instantly. Preliminary estimates. It's either the second head of the Mad Demon group, or... The follower said with some fear. Who is it? Lei shouted loudly. The head of the Yu family is Yugan. The follower said cautiously. This Mad Demon group and the Yu family have been restless. I'm afraid this matter really has something to do with them. Pass my order, rectify all the strengths of our Lei family, and gather. I don't know if I can survive this catastrophe. If you pass it, you will live, or you will die. Lei Li seemed to have guessed something, and couldn't help muttering. The Qing family mansion. Father, what happened to the Hammer mercenary corps? In the hall, Qingming Qingwen and several senior officials of Qing's family gathered here and said slowly. I believe everyone already knows the news of the accident with the Hammer mercenary corps. It's already full of storms in the city. As for who the murderer is, I'm afraid. Sami was in the first place and said to a group of strong people below, Patriarch, I think the auction has just ended, and the Hammer mercenary group has been completely wiped out. I'm afraid there are some hidden secrets. One of the old men couldn't help but said, in the voice full of melancholy, Old Ching Ching is very right. Now the Ghost King city is full of wind and rain, and the Hammer mercenary group has been destroyed. All these spearheads seem to point to the two forces. Another old man said, The Yu family and the Mad Demon Squad. Qing Ming nodded slightly when she heard the words. The Yu family has been behind closed doors since the auction, and cut off all contact with the outside world. I think they're probably planning something. Old Qing said. It seems that this will be a major disaster. Sami said. Gathering all the strength of our Qing family, I'm afraid the real battle is about to begin. After Sami finished everyone went down to work on their own. City Lord's Mansion. City Lord, the matter has been investigated clearly. The person who killed the Hammer mercenary group was indeed Yugan. In a quiet wooden house, Bai He said to Death Feng. This feather is really a wolf's ambition. But that's fine. It's time to get rid of this pest. Bai He, gather the strength of our City Lord's mansion and prepare to attack the Yu family. Since they want to rebel, then I, the City Lord, must show them a little more. As for the demise of the Hammer mercenary group, it's just an excuse. It just so happens that the Hammer mercenary group has done too many strange things, so the end can be regarded as retribution. Dead Wind said. Yes, Lord City Lord. Bai He smiled. Of course that Yugan is a pseudo 3-star fighting immortal, but so what? The two of them, Bai He and Dead Wind, were directly assigned by Yinhun Tiandongsu, and their background is far from comparable to the power of Ghost King City. That's right, my lord. There is news from the Hawkeye team. It seems that they will arrive ahead of schedule. Finally, Bai He said. That's very good. Dead Wind also laughed when he heard the words. If the Eagle Eye Squad arrives, not to mention the 3-star fighting immortal with Feather Dry, even if it is a 4-star fighting immortal, I am afraid it will not escape the end of the fall, and this Eagle Eye Squad is the original owner of the Earth Dragon Blood Crystal, and the Old Man of Death Wind. Man. With the end of the auction and the demise of the Hammer mercenary group, the entire Ghost King city actually lasted for 3 days of calm, and on the third day, when dawn crossed the sky, the Ghost King city also staged shocking scenes. Drama. In a rather noble inn in the Ghost King city. Sir Xiao Yang. Outside a room of the inn, a man in casual clothes knocked gently on the door. Although the man was wearing civilian clothes, his aura was quite rigorous, like a well-trained soldier. Who is it? Xiao Yang was closing his eyes and adjusting his breath at the moment. When he was knocked like this, he couldn't help opening the door and asked, My lord, the guy who took the undead leaves, there's something going on. The city lord specially sent me to inform you. The man in plain clothes whispered beside Xiao Yang, and a scroll of letters appeared in his hand. In this letter, there is a rather tyrannical isolation force. Obviously, Death Wind is also afraid of being intercepted by others halfway, so he makes this last resort. Oh, 3 days, is there finally any movement? Xiao Yang heard the words, smiled slowly, and took the letter from the man's hand. I see, thank the city lord for me. Xiao Yang said with a smile. Must. This subordinate will not disturb the rest of the adults. After the man in civilian clothes finished speaking, he immediately disappeared, apparently returning to his life. Squeak. Xiao Yang took a look around, and when there was no one around, he immediately placed a huge soul force in his room, and then slowly sat down. This undead wind is naturally vigilant. Xiao Yang said while holding the letter recording the news about the undead leaves. Open it and have a look. The next moment, without any hesitation, he directly activated the huge soul power and slowly opened the letter. The mysterious man who took the undead leaves has left the city and left from the 4 city gates in the south, north and west respectively. It's just that the 4 avatars are quite strange, as if they are exactly the same, and you can't tell who is the main body. Above the letter, 2 lines of large characters slowly stood in it. What? 4 avatars? Xiao Yang was shocked when he saw this. The art of avatar can only be condensed by using fighting spirit and soul power, but each has its own drawbacks. There are too many loopholes in the avatar that uses Doqi condensed, and it is easy to be seen through. As for the avatar that is condensed by soul power, it is the same strength as the main body. This is also the reason why Xiao Yang hardly used his Emperor Realm soul clone. Soul power is too important to him. Not to mention, the identity of a pharmacist alone makes Xiao Yang quite jealous, so he does not as a last resort. Xiao Yang did not dare to rashly use the soul clone in his body. This guy's alchemist medal is fake, how can he have a huge soul power? And these 4 avatars can't even see through the demeanor of the city lord? Xiao Yang wondered. Go to the north gate. Just when Xiao Yang hesitated, the soul eater in the body said, North gate. Xiao Yang said with some worry when he heard the words. This mysterious person is obviously a good abacus. The 4 gates in the north, south, east, and west of Ghost King City are quite far apart. With a 1/4 chance, it is no wonder that Xiao Yang hesitated so much. Don't worry, he has what I left behind on him, and he can't run far. The Lord of Soul Eater smiled. What kind of strength the Lord of Soul Eater is, he naturally has his means to deal with this level of guy, although he can't shoot, but secretly doing some means to detect other people's breath, it is obviously simple. This is a bit interesting. Xiao Yang finished speaking, tidying up a little, then he put on the black robe, and the ancient ruler of the fire was behind his back, hiding his breath and heading towards the north gate. With the affirmation of Soul Eater, Xiao naturally didn't worry about going wrong. City Lord, I have successfully delivered the letter. In the City Lord's mansion, the man who had just sent the letter said respectfully in front of Dead Wind. That's good. Who is the flower of this undead leaf? I'm afraid now is the real fight. Bai He, let's go too. When they are almost fighting, there is no need for the Yu family and the Mad Demon group to exist. After Deathwind finished speaking, a rare and dangerous arc appeared on the corner of his mouth. Sir, you. And Bai He, with his eyesight, naturally found out that there was something wrong with Deathwind. I temporarily absorbed that thing, and now I'm dealing with Yugan. I'm afraid I can open 6 or 4. Dead Wind said with a smile. Sure enough. Hearing this, Bai He still laughed. Bai He and Deathfong have a deep friendship, and Bai He naturally doesn't care much about money and treasures, otherwise he wouldn't have been just a little soldier under Deathfong for decades. As soon as the voice fell, the aura of the 2 of them slowly disappeared. Along with the disappearance of the 2, there were still dozens of figures in black clothes. Although the number of these figures was very small, their strength was the lowest, reaching the middle stage of 1-star fighting immortals. And even the powerhouses in the early stage of the 2-star Dozian, which can be said to be the full power of the City Lord's mansion. The mysterious man who took away the undead leaves has left the city. There are only 4 figures in the south, east, and northwest. I don't know which one's real body is. In the Yu family compound, 2 men with fierce aura said slowly. The 2 leaders of the Mad Demon group, don't be impatient. Yu Gan, who was sitting on the first place, said with a smile. I don't know what elder brother Yu has in mind, asked the head of the Mad Demon group. Go to the north gate. We have absolute intelligence, we can't go wrong. Originally this time, I planned to use the attractiveness of the undead Tilda if they can see through the mysterious man's clone trick and wipe them all out. If they can't, it will take a lot of work, but it doesn't matter. After I get the undead leaves, they all have to die. Let's go, too. After Yu Gan finished speaking, he got up and walked towards the north gate. Brother Yu, don't forget the promise you made to us. The head of the Mad Demon group snorted coldly, got up and followed. The remuneration is naturally indispensable for the 2 masters. But I'm the one who said the ugly thing in front. If the 2 of you don't try your best to fool me, I'm afraid I, Yu Gan, will definitely not make it easier. Yu Gan said with a smile and a hidden knife. Definitely. Feeling Yu Gan's overwhelming killing intent, the 2 bosses couldn't help but break out in cold sweat and said. After all, although the 2 of them have reached the late stage of the 2-star Dozian, they are undoubtedly too small compared to Yu Gan, but they also have the skills to press the bottom of the box, so after joining forces, they are naturally not afraid of Yu Gan. It was the key to their negotiation with Yu Gan. Only the Yu family and Xiao Yang went to the north gate at the same time. As for the Qing family and the Lei family, although they also dispatched family elites, they obviously did not have accurate information. The guess was wrong. The Qing family went to the south gate, and the Lei family went to the southeast. Just happened to be staggered with it. The dozens of powerhouses in the City Lord's mansion were extremely smart. Although they didn't see through the trick of the mysterious man, they followed behind the 3 Yu family members. At this point, the 3 forces collided with the mysterious man. Hehe, idiots like Ghost King City. Don't talk about Yinhunshan, even the entire Lahunyu realm, in the eyes of our Ghost Kingdom, is nothing but insignificant. When our king completes his plan, I'm afraid the entire ghost world will be in the possession of our Ghost Kingdom. Calculate the time, Hu and Hao should be here soon. Since you guys from Ghost King City are not giving up, let's play with you. Our Ghost King City has been silent for too long, it's time for you guys to know how powerful we are. A man in a black robe on a hill slowly let out a strange smile, and after speaking, his speed slowed down, as if he were walking very leisurely. These guys. After a while, Xiao Yan quietly stood on a small hill at the north gate. The huge soul power made Xiao Yang aware that there were still many tyrannical strengths hidden in this hill. Among these forces, the three of the Yu family are the most powerful. In the early stage of Yugan's 3-star fighting immortal, plus 2 strong men whose strength has reached the late 2-star fighting immortal stage, such a lineup can be said to be able to walk sideways in the Ghost King City. If the figure in the north gate is the real body of the mysterious man, this guy must be too arrogant. Xiao Yang didn't think about anything else for the time being, but only focused on the figure on the hill. At this time, on the small hill, a mysterious man in a black robe walked slowly forward without plague or fire. Looking at his appearance, he didn't look like a powerhouse with such a treasure as immortal leaves at all. If ordinary people got the undead leaves, I'm afraid they would only leave cautiously, but this mysterious person is good, but he left blatantly, and looking at the appearance, it seems that the speed is so slow and there is not much worry. If it doesn't have enough background, I'm afraid there is a backhand. Xiao Yang said slowly, hiding his figure, but he didn't mean to take action. After all, no one of the hidden powerhouses here can handle it, so naturally is ready to sit on the mountain to watch the tiger fight. City Lord, what are we doing now? On the other side of the small hill, Death Wind led dozens of people to hide in secret, but he couldn't help asking. This guy walked out of the north gate with ease. If he is allowed to walk around and leaves the management scope of our Ghost King City, I am afraid it will be detrimental to us. But don't worry, I believe someone is more anxious than us. The next moment, Dead Wind laughed. And as the voice of the Dead Wind just fell, some secret strength suddenly started to move. Yugan, what's the matter now? Behind a rock, Yugan and the head of the two madmen couldn't help looking at each other. I can't wait any longer. If we let him walk like this and go out of the sphere of influence of our Ghost King City, it will be troublesome. Do it. The next moment, Yugan's eyes shot out a chill, and he said, this immortal leaf is related to the immortal fire of the holy flame, and it must be obtained no matter what. As soon as the voice fell, the 3 figures of Yugan suddenly flashed out, showing a triangular shape, surrounding the mysterious man. I can't help it anymore. Seeing this, the mysterious man didn't seem to have any fear, and his voice was even full of jokes. Hand over the undead leaves. Happy to you. Yugan stared viciously at the mysterious man, opened his mouth slightly, with the pressure of a 3-star fighting immortal powerhouse in his voice, but what made him puzzled was that he didn't seem to have the slightest bit about this mysterious man. Usefulness. But what makes Yugan feel strange is that even his own strength in the early stage of the 3-star battle of immortals cannot see through the specific strength of this mysterious person. There are only 2 possibilities for this situation. One is that this mysterious person is much stronger than himself, and the other is that there is some treasure on this guy that isolates him from his investigation. The situation of this mysterious person is obviously the second. One is in the early stage of the 3-star Dozyan, and the other is in the late stage of the 2-star Dozyan. Strong is strong, but if you want to stop me, it will not be enough. The mysterious man said with a slight smile. Black-faced tiger, scarred wolf, do it. After Yugan finished speaking, silver thunder flashed all over his body, and it was vaguely that the hills became restless. The black-faced tiger and the scarred wolf are the 2 leaders of the current Mad Demon group, and they are also the strengths of the late 2-star fighting immortals. The former has the fire attribute, and the latter has the wood attribute. If you want to capture me with just this little strength, your Yunhunshan powerhouses are too imaginative. The mysterious man snorted coldly, and then there seemed to be some terrifying fluctuations slowly brewing in the black robe. Tiger claws. Wolf punch. The black-faced tiger and the scarred wolf looked at each other, and immediately on their palms, fiery red and cyan grudges appeared, and they suddenly attacked the mysterious man. With such a terrifying attack, even a 2-star fighting immortal powerhouse would be seriously injured in an instant. The black-faced tiger's claws seemed simple, but it contained an extremely large fire attribute fighting immortal power. Just as he walked away from the mysterious person, the surrounding space was filled with dryness. And the wolf pounce of the scarred wolf is full of vitality, but the attack is extremely terrifying as if it kills the vitality. Small worm carving trick. After the mysterious man finished speaking, a huge pitch-black chain suddenly strung out under the black robe, and then in the eyes of many hidden powerhouses, It directly penetrated the attacks of the black-faced tiger and the scarred wolf. Take your life. Just after breaking the attack of the two, the mysterious man didn't stop at all, and his figure suddenly burst out with a more powerful attack along with the dark chain tilde, directly facing the two. Attack away. Retreat. The black-faced tiger and the scarred wolf are worthy of being strong men who have cooperated for many years. Just by seeing each other, you know that the dark chain in the hands of this mysterious person is definitely not simple. These two waste. Seeing this, Yu Gan, who was brewing his ultimate move, couldn't help cursing. After all, the two of you are also strong in the late stage of the two-star Dozian, and you would be forced to look like this by a guy. But what Yu Gan didn't know was that although the strength of this mysterious man was only two-star Doshian perfection, the most terrifying thing was the dark chain in his hand. Above the pitch-black chains, there are countless mysterious runes that are quite subtle, and those runes are like poison. Caused the two to be distracted, so this is the reason why the two black-faced tigers were attacked by mysterious people and retreated. Chains. Soul Clan. And Xiao Yang just saw the dark chain used by the mysterious man, and a heavy feeling filled his heart. Considering that Xiao Yang had fought countless battles with the Soul Clan when he was on the Dochi continent, he could naturally know at a glance that the attacking tactics used by this mysterious man in front of him seemed to be exactly the same as those of the Soul Clan, and even this guy at the moment is several times stronger than any Soul Clan powerhouse he has dealt with in the past. Senior, this guy. Xiao Yang forcibly suppressed the shock in his body, and slowly asked the Soul Eater in his body. When the Soul Clan was on the Dochi continent, they were full of evil, and Xiao Yang believed that even if the Soul Clan came to the Great Thousand World, their nature would still remain unchanged. The Soul Clan you mentioned should be the 8 ancient clans on the Dodi continent. The Soul Eater said. Although the Lord of Soul Eater is a person from the Ghost World, the Dodi continent is a very important territory in the human world, and naturally he knows it. Exactly. Xiao Yang responded. I don't know if this guy is a Soul Clan, but he is stained with a very strong ghost energy. He must be a person from the Ghost World. As for the Soul Clan you mentioned, I am afraid it has something to do with the forces behind it. The Lord of Souls shook his head. Can you tell what force he belongs to? Xiao Yang asked. After all, there are still many tyrannical forces in the Ghost World. I can't for the time being. But after fighting with Yu Gan, I can tell it after he shows his cards. The Lord of Soul Eater said. Then let's wait and see. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he suddenly became quiet, but Xiao Yang always felt that the identity of this Soul Clan was not simple. Sir, who is this guy so holy? Bai He, who was hiding in the dark, couldn't help but speak. It was the first time in by his life that he was able to force the two powerhouses in the late stage of the two-star Dozian to nowhere. Do not know. But the chains he used should not be ordinary things. I'm afraid I can't keep up with that kind of direct soul-terrifying means. Dead Wind shook his head. After speaking, it was quiet, because the battle in the field had become more and more intense. The sound of the collision of metal chains was particularly harsh, filling the hill above. Yu Gan, we can't hold it anymore. And the fire attribute fighting immortal power on the black-faced tiger was actually defeated by the mysterious man's chain attack, and it was about to be defeated in a blink of an eye. The Scar Wolf on the side is not too bad. Although he is a wood attribute, the power of the wood attribute fighting immortals has given a lot of defensive power, but in the face of the mysterious person's direct attack on the soul, the Scar Wolf also has an ugly face. Soul power is undoubtedly the most difficult to cultivate, and it is also the weakest, but it is the most important. When fighting against people, if someone interferes with your soul power, you won't be able to perform even fighting skills, and you can only use it as a sandbag that can be attacked by others. Go away, let me come. After a while, there was a thunder field around the trunk. The area of the thunder field was more than 100 meters, and it was full of black thunder. The power of the black thunder is stronger than the power of the ordinary silver thunder attribute fighting immortal. Yu Gan used such a means, because he was aware of the difficulty of this mysterious person, and he did not dare to hide it. Thunder snakes come to the world, annihilate. At the next moment, all the thunder in the 100-meter thunder field actually converged towards a certain point under the watchful eyes of the public, and then, a black giant snake with a body over 100 meters in size, volley appear. The black giant snorted the snake letter slightly, and the Xeon's breath was unmistakable. It was wrapped in black thunder, and its snake eyes stared at the mysterious man, as if it had spirituality. What a tyrannical attack! It seems that this guy's strength of Samsung Dozian is not false. The mysterious man couldn't help muttering when he saw the black giant snake. because with the black-robed man's sense of smell, he could smell a dangerous aura from the black giant snake, not to mention the extremely dazzling black thunder around the giant snake. 1 locks the sky, and 2 locks the ground. Soul lock. Give this deity a lock. And the man in black robe was not to be outdone. He shouted loudly, and the pitch-black chain in his hand swelled countless times in an instant, and then roared away at the giant snake in the sky. The rune on the chain. How does it feel? A little familiar? It seems a bit like a trace of the origin of the guy in the Ghost Kingdom. The Soul Eater said to himself just after seeing the tiny runes on the mysterious black-robed man's chain swelled several times. Thunder is the nemesis of your eerie atmosphere. Fall for me. Seeing this, Yugan couldn't help but let out an extremely crazy smile. The aura on this black-robed man is very eerie, and his thunder power is the power of steadfastness and his best nemesis. This guy's actions are tantamount to sending him to death. Is it? That's not necessarily true. The black-robed man, however, dismissed Yugan's pride and laughed directly. Boom boom boom. Facing the fierce breath of the pitch-black chains, the black giant snake was not to be outdone. She opened its mouth, and a dazzling black thunder suddenly emerged, and then swayed its huge body and whizzed away at it. Breakthrough. The sound of the giant snake swallowing the snake letter and the sound of the black chain metal colliding echoed over the hills, and the two formed a series of harsh noises. However, when the two were at a stalemate, the rune on the black chain suddenly fell off faintly, and then attacked the black giant snake. This guy is about to lose. Looking at the two men in the sky who seemed to be evenly matched, Deadwind, who was hiding in the dark, couldn't help but say, "How could it be? Yugan's attack wasn't." He had just finished speaking, and before he could finish speaking, bursts of dazzling energy ripples erupted in the sky. The black giant snake, which had the upper hand, was instantly entangled by the jet-black chain. Just now, the dark chain was entangled, and the mysterious black rune on the chain suddenly fell off at a speed visible to the naked eye. The next moment, all attached to the body of the black giant snake. The black serpent was attached to it by the black tilde. Suddenly, the black giant snake let out a burst of extremely painful screams, even the black thunder that originally permeated outside the black giant snake's body. At a speed visible to the naked eye, it fell apart. How could it be possible? Feeling this scene, Yugan, who had always been proud, suddenly turned weird. The guy from the ghost day, it's nothing more than that. It really disappoints me. Yinhunshan guys are just some frogs in the bottom of the well. The black-robed man seemed to have discovered the strong man hiding in the dark, so he said these words so loudly that everyone could hear them. "Sir, you can't wait any longer. If Yugan fails, I'm afraid we won't be able to keep this guy with our manpower here." A respected old man next to her couldn't help saying, "Yes." Deadwind heard the words and raised his hand gently. "Go." He looked at Deadwind's gesture, and immediately said what it meant. As soon as the voice fell, dozens of strong men suddenly showed a tyrannical aura, trying to explode and attack the black-robed man. Wait a minute. The energy in Yugan's body is skyrocketing violently. What's going on? The next moment, just as everyone was about to start, they were shocked by the words of the Deadwind. Boom boom boom. In the sky, the black giant snake was pierced by the chain in an instant, and then the pitch-black rune was turned into a burst of black smoke, bursting with dazzling energy ripples, frantically blasting towards the hills in all directions. Shoot away. At the same time, the momentum of the chain still did not weaken at all, and whistled away at Yugan on his own. Looking at this appearance, he wanted to use the power of the chain to completely obliterate Yugan. What kind of power is waking up in this guy, so strong? And Xiao Yang, who was below, couldn't help being startled and said, "The strength of the black-robed man is inherently tyrannical. Even if he is as powerful as a feather, he is forced to use even more powerful power. If this black-robed man is a soul clan, I am afraid that the souls of the Great Thousand Worlds clan, compared to the soul clan of Dochi continent, is much stronger. This is the fluctuation of the fighting spirit." Just when Xiao Yang was puzzled, the Soul Eater said in surprise. With the eyes of the Soul Eater Laro Lai, it was a moment when he noticed Yugan. The purpose. Ha ha ha. Old chop. Originally, this thing was reserved to deal with the wind of death, but I didn't expect you to force it out. I have to say that you are very strong, but this game is over. Yugan stood in the sky, the explosion Yubo hadn't completely dissipated, and crazy laughter suddenly came from the center of the explosion. It's just that at this time, Yugan's aura has undergone earth-shaking changes. The original aura is only with some violent thunder power, but at this moment, its aura is full of violence, like a peerless beast. Generally, the black-robed man's chains were held by Yugan, and he was thrown off the ground at will like a mangy dog. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying impact made the jet-black chain shoot directly into the ground for dozens of meters, and when the chain just touched the feather stem, the pitch-black rune on the chain was actually melted by the feather stem. And go. And after using the soul lock to destroy the giant black snake Yugan, he tried to kill Yugan in one fell swoop with the help of that fierce breath, but the man in black robe, who was the winner, never thought that this feather still has such strength. With just one encounter, he instantly destroyed his chain, and even the mysterious rune on his soul chain was turned into powder by the blow just now. With a sound, black blood emerged directly from the mouth of the black-robed man. Obviously, the soul lock had some secret connection with him. Now the runes on the soul lock have been completely wiped out by Yugan, and the black-robed man he also suffered serious internal injuries. Do soul? The black-robed man raised his head with a bit of bitterness at the corner of his mouth, looking up at the sky, exuding a violent aura, like a mighty beast like a feather, he couldn't help saying. Yugan's aura is inherently tyrannical, that's why the man in black robe wants to kill him in one go, and with the emergence of the power of the fighting spirit, the black-robed man can feel that this feather is several times stronger than when he fought against him before. Yugan was in mid-air. At this moment, a phantom appeared behind him. The phantom was floating, making it difficult to identify his true identity, but his pupils were extremely red. This guy actually forcibly devoured the fighting spirit. Aren't you afraid of being attacked? What a lunatic. The black-faced tiger and the scarred wolf on the side couldn't help cursing in a low voice. If it really devours the fighting spirit, once the power of the fighting spirit is used, the main body of the fighting spirit will also be attached, and the city master is a great help, but the phantom like Yugan is obviously caused by the backlash of the fighting spirit. This situation is undoubtedly the sequelae left by forcible phagocytosis. Fighting soul is the most obvious thing among the fighting spirit powerhouses. It can be said without any hesitation that if a strong person in the early stage of a one-star fighting immortal has a fighting spirit, it is enough to easily defeat a middle-stage one-star fighting fairy. Of the strong. It is the kind of crushing that is easy and effortless. No matter how monstrous the powerhouse in the middle stage of Star Dozyan is, it will be completely crushed by the powerhouse in the early stage of one-star Dozyan with the soul. This is where the fighting spirit is strong. It's just that there are many ways to devour the fighting spirit, but the feather in front of him swallowed it like this. Obviously it was forcibly swallowed, whether it was the use of the fighting spirit or the load on himself, it was quite a lot. But even so, Yugan, who had displayed the power of fighting soul at this time, wanted to obliterate the black-robed man. Seriously injured. Damn bastard. A little ghost king city under the shadowy sky actually has a strong man who devoured the fighting spirit. Miscalculation. The black-robed man forcibly suppressed the shock in his body and said word by word. As a high-level ghost kingdom, he naturally knows the horror of fighting spirits, but even a powerhouse of his level cannot devour the fighting spirits. Strong. The man in black robe is jealous and hateful, but after weighing it, he will definitely escape temporarily. Not to mention that he is injured now. I am afraid that this guy's fighting spirit is not something he can deal with, not to mention that there are still some human beings in the dark. Covet. I only want to leave now, it's too late. After a while, Yugan seemed to forcibly suppress the backlash of the fighting spirit in his body, so the blood-colored pupils locked onto the black-robed man, and an extremely terrifying and violent aura suddenly burst out. Being stared at by Yugan's violent aura, even if he was as powerful as a black-robed man with a 2-star fighting spirit, he couldn't help shivering. Senior, can you tell what kind of fighting spirit this is? Xiao Yan asked. He also possesses the immortal ghost bird. Although he hasn't swallowed it yet, Yugan is undoubtedly the first strong person that he has encountered to use the power of the fighting spirit. Cannot see clearly. This guy forcibly devoured the fighting spirit, so the power of the fighting spirit could not be fully exerted, and I estimate that every time he used the power of the fighting spirit, he would have to endure the suffering of the fighting spirit backlash. But this guy's fighting spirit is too small compared to the undead ghost. At the end of the sentence, the Soul Eater said, "Boom, boom, boom." At the moment when the two were talking, the figure of Yugan skyrocketed, leaving a trail of afterimages in the void, and instantly appeared in front of the black-robed man. On the huge palm, a blood-red dochi suddenly grabbed it. Not good. When the black-robed man saw the blood-red claws attacking him, he was secretly surprised, because there was an invisible prestige on the blood-red claws. The fighting chi in the body seems to have solidified, and it cannot be mobilized. As soon as he hit the man in black robe, the figure of the man in black robe who was about to escape in mid-air suddenly hit the ground like a meteorite, and the terrifying impact actually pushed down the ground for dozens of times. Meter. Old guy, hand over the undead leaves. Otherwise, die. The black-robed man lying in the pit on the ground like a dead dog sneered. Asshole. Crappy. Little beast. Hun Hao, you are still watching the play, and you haven't shown up yet. Kill him for me. The black-robed man who was seriously injured in doo-doo said angrily into the sky. And as soon as the black-robed man's voice fell, the sky that was originally clear sky suddenly darkened, as if something was about to appear. This video will end here.